Let's talk Barcelona. Yeah, I know, it's kind of a bit of a weird one, being a Real Madrid fan, talking about Barcelona. Yeah, I know, I understand. But I want to talk about them, from a neutral point of view. I'm trying not to let, the rivalry we have kind of dictate the stuff that I'm going to say in, today's video. And I'm just going to analyze this from a neutral point of view and just give like analysis and match reaction of what I saw. And I've not really watched Barcelona this season, but I think from what I'm seeing so far, it's not looking positive. If you're an FC Barcelona fan, you're kind of a bit worried. You're a bit concerned because you're going into the Champions League and the team chemistry is not looking as fluid as it used to be. And they're finally facing a team that isn't parking the bus. Vallecano, they didn't park the bus today. They played, expansive football. 4-4-2, expansive, trying to press, trying to win the ball, a lot of energy. And I think that's what you're going to be expecting from Vallecano. If you're a Spanish La Liga football fan, you're gonna know that Vallecano, they come into games and they come into the game with energy. So that's what you're gonna be expecting from them. But it did, give us a little bit of an insight into what to expect against Barcelona when they come up against a team that isn't necessarily parking the bus, a team that isn't gonna allow them to hold on to the ball for as long as they would like to do. And going into the international break not on top, and looking at what Madrid are cooking at the moment, you kind of will be a little bit concerned. If you're Barcelona, because again, as I said, Champions League football, even the El Clasico that would be coming up in a few days, you would like for the team chemistry to be a little bit better than it is at the moment. I didn't see any chances being created apart from the penalty that Lamine Yamal had, which I mean didn't really look like a penalty. The VAR got shut off, but I'm not going to talk about that. La Liga has a whole lot of nonsense in relation to VAR and all of that. I just want to talk about the game, and I think if Vallecano had better players, I think this game ends in a Barcelona loss because I think they had better chances. I think their new goalkeeper, Joan García, is really going to be important for them this season. Because again, I haven't watched a lot of Barcelona games, but from what I've seen today, it doesn't look like you know, it doesn't look like they are the chemistry between the attackers. Going forward, it's a little bit off. I saw you know, Rafinha and who was it, Ferran Torres up front. I mean, that chemistry is a bit weird. It is a bit weird. So yeah, but again, having seen them against a team that isn't parking the bus, a team that isn't allowing them to hold on to possession. If you're other teams, especially in the Champions League, if you're Real Madrid, if you're Xabi Alonso, you're looking at this and you're like, okay, this is how we go up against Barcelona. We press them, we put the pressure on them. Although it is difficult, when they have players like Pedri on the ball, they have players like Frankie De Jong on the ball who can really beat an opposition press when they're on their day. When they're not on their day, like today, you can kind of see how you can get by them. And I think Vallecano, as I said earlier, if they did have better players, they definitely would have gotten something from this game. Lamine Yamal, I mean, he looked a little bit shaky today. I don't know what happened. I really don't know. I think it was just Barcelona on a bad day. Again, this is the first time I've watched Barcelona this season, and I'm giving an analysis. And I know it might be they've been playing better this season. They just looked really off today. But again, if you're a Barcelona fan, you're looking at that and you're thinking forward. You're thinking about the Champions League because you do want to play well in the Champions League. It's Barcelona. You want to play well in the Champions League. You would also want to win the league. And seeing that performance and seeing what teams like Real Madrid are doing, seeing what teams like Chelsea, who you might be facing, or not might, you will be facing them in the Champions League, looking at what they're doing in terms of creating chances and taking their chances, you're kind of a little bit concerned. So yeah, that's one thing you would definitely be worried about. I don't know what the issue is with Lewandowski on the bench. I don't know if it's a tactical thing or he's just not fit and ready for the season. Marcus Rashford, he came off the bench, didn't really do much. He didn't really do much, and it was it was a weird one. Seeing a player of Marcus Rashford's quality not being able to impact a game in La Liga is a little bit of a concern. You're looking at that and you're thinking, I mean, is he gonna be a big player for Barcelona? He's not even. I don't think he started the game for them. Is he gonna be an important player for them? Because you'd be thinking, okay, he's gonna be an impact sub. He's gonna be a player that comes from the bench, does a little bit of 1, 2, 3, adds a little bit of energy into the game, and then gets something, gets a result, gets an impact, makes an impact. I mean, in the game, and we couldn't see that. He didn't look as sharp. He made a really very, very clear and obvious offside run, and he was like, you could see he didn't look like he was ready for the game. But again, I think this is the first time I've seen Barcelona come up against a team that isn't allowing them. I didn't see Barcelona a lot on the ball today. They were not, having the opportunities that they normally would have against a team that would allow them to stay on the ball, be on the ball, try and create opportunities and all of that. And you could see that there were a little bit of, issues when that happened and when Vallecano were really, really pressing them. So it's kind of a template for other teams to look at and be like, okay, this is the way to go. This is the way we can actually handle Barcelona. But I'm sure they're gonna improve. I'm sure after the international break they're gonna come back. Stuff is gonna be bad. I think I might be watching a little bit more Barcelona games now because I think I didn't know they were this ineffective going forward. But I do think it is a one-time thing. They just been caught on a bad day. But I will be watching more Barcelona games and maybe be given more previews on their game. This is going to be a little bit shorter again because I haven't watched Barcelona this season. I can't say, oh, this is how they played in the last game. And, it's a bit of a concern because they played like that in the last game and they're playing like this in this game. I can't really say that because I haven't really watched them this season. But this is the analysis of what I saw today. First time watching Barcelona. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. The Barcelona fans that have been watching Barcelona this whole season, what's the what's the vibe? What was today just a one-off, or is this how the season has been for you guys this season? Again, I don't want to talk about VAR and all of that because La Liga is just, I don't want to talk about it. It's getting boring at this point, and yeah, it's just something else. It's really, I don't know how a game can be played when VAR is not really working. But yeah, that's just how La Liga is. That's just how La Liga is. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. As usual, any feedback from you guys would be greatly appreciated.